Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Turn Key Kidz podcast, Ep.4. It's just a dynamic duo tonight because O.Verses is in Colorado. So this is O.Verses night. Anybody got some bad thing to say about it, you could say it tonight while he ain't here. Get it out your system. We'll show him when he gets back. But no, we're going to get this started. So we just released Bugz video Sunday morning. If y'all hadn't checked it out yet, go look at Higgnz Bugz, directed, produced by the guy right next to me, Mr. T.H.C. Kumba. And check the single out. Let's let it play. We some Bugz.
Get a grip, don't sit down, I get 'em up, baby. Riding dirty in the South won't change me. Flavor so tasty to you, let's make gravy. My propane burning, let's practice a little safety. To get your crawfish, you gotta be one to be a mudslinger, a warrior, to see sun. We on that pedal to metal rebel for reason, darling. Never thought exercise and freedom would ever be for knowledge. Bread like French, Dixie beer, filled dice chests. I put on for my city, keep it real like gas. And blaze a trail through the mud flats like a gator tail. Raps cover the comeback, I tell you, think of LL Gumbo or Dr. Dre, blend with Hell's Bells. Revving with the strength of a diesel engine, I can't fail. Link up like rail cars, chugging down a railroad. You stuck in these ruts, there ain't a truck I can't tow. I can't stop, nah, won't stop, the momentum is contagious. We got the ladies wanting the dirty, they denim. From the boot to Carolina, I'm rolling the riders out, rocking out, lot of top bottoms up till we bottom out. We some yeah, boy, you know how we riding in a whole off-road like there's no other option. We some everything we do is hands-on, going in, going hard. Lil' mama, so clamp on to a whether 2 or 4 stroking. I ain't only talking wheels, I'm talking about my stroke is a why you think they call it the dirty, dirty? Deep in the murky waters, we get naughty, you heard me? We some we get bucked up by the thought of a field fest woman, posing side by side, ride Bonnie and Clyde, slap on your thighs. Muddy beats, muddy boots, water proper attire, going ham without the frying pan, a motor will fire. Take a dip and won't require a lot of tread on the tires, won't seem to never break down or pop like spider wire. I slice and dice through the beat, cause babe women love Michael Myers. American Idol, I'm just a virus going viral, the return of a pirate, hijacking you for the title. My words slurring next, it doesn't match up to a honky tonk genre, but get it wrong, cause any rapper in the country, whether Bonnie or Louisiana, make a transit, or travel to Indiana to rave with rednecks. Let the good times roll on, baby, no headrest. Hold on, wide open for bottom, I said it best. We some yeah, boy, you know how we riding in a whole off-road like there's no other option. We some everything we do is hands-on, going in, going hard. Lil' mama, so clamp on to a whether 2 or 4 stroking. I ain't only talking wheels, I'm talking about my stroke is a why you think they call it the dirty, dirty? Deep in the murky waters, we get naughty, you heard me? We some don't sit down, I get 'em up, baby. Riding dirty in the South.
Check this out. So how was it to actually get to film and shoot your first video and produce it?
Oh man, it was fun, man. I had a blast doing it, filming it with you guys, and I tell you what, it was a lot more to it than I thought. Working on it, you know, man. Like the first one I sent you, you kind of like said, "Hey, man, you ready to be criticized?" I tell you what, that really helped, man. And I was happy to hear that. I was like, I needed that criticism so I know what I was doing wrong. And then immediately I went to work on my second go at it, and man, I was actually surprised about all the positive feedback we got.
Right.
Yeah, because man, I worked a long time on it, obviously. Worked hard at it, you know, and I was like, man, I'm ready to get this out. I want to see what people think of it, you know, and the feedback's been positive.
For sure. And the one I sent you, oh, this is your best video yet.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, here we go, about to swell his head up.
Yeah.
But it's good to see that though, because you know you're doing the right things and you're moving in the right direction, bro. So that it was awesome to see it come out that way. And yeah, it's always good to be criticized constructively.
Oh man, you know? I was looking for it that first time.
Right. It was one thing to just like thump on somebody's work rather than giving the constructive criticism. And that's what an outside source is there for. I mean, that's what a voice coach or people engineers in the studio, they'll tell an artist if they did something wrong that they might not catch because you're inside the box. So anybody who's looking through the keyhole can see things that you can't see from the outside. You know, so you gotta it's gotta come from credible sources. You can't just some random motherfucker on the street who has no credibility is gonna tell you, oh, bro, you should have did this and you should have did that. That don't know the half of what it even takes to make it. You know,
right.
You can't. But like I watched, you know, I've understood the video process, so you was just like, hey, I want to try editing a video.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Let's do it. And we here.
Right.
You know, it worked. It's awesome and it's magnificent for me because now I don't have to worry about external sources for anything. Everything we do is in-house and self-sufficient.
Right.
We'll be able to provide those resources for other people, other artists who need that shit.
Right.
So, and you're going to get better every time. And the one thing about being independent artist, and I explained it to you, that's why I put this out there, is that when you hire somebody to shoot a video, well, you might have an idea the way a guy would normally, a video editor, producer, film, whatever they want to charge. What they'll do is they'll give you a price, and then they'll give you and that comes with 3 locations.
Right.
And then you set a date. So you kind of got to do everything crammed into one day. You want to shoot all that stuff in one day. You don't know what the weather's going to be like. You don't know, really what you're going to have to deal with.
So you're paying all that money and you plan by their rules.
Right. Right. This is how we're going to do it. But they work, they hired, you hired them. So they're going to work for you, but it's with stipulations. You understand what I'm, and that's the issue about not being able to film and shoot and do all your work in-house, is that you're always going to have some kind of limitations unless you got unlimited amount of resources when it comes to finances.
Right.
Other than that, it's you're working on the budgets. You got to put everything in. You got to improvise, and you don't really get the true masterpiece that you want.
Right.
Now, where it takes me is, I get to write a script now. Now we can shoot this. If it takes a week, to get all the footage, then it's gonna take a week just to get the filming done and done right. Because now we're able to jump from one video to the next, so we could take our time on it. We could really do. The options are unlimited at this point.
Yeah.
Because we could do everything together, and we're able to, bounce off each other's.
Yeah.
Feedback. And now what I've noticed is that you figured out tricks after that first edit to the second edit. You know what I'm saying? I saw things that I told you about, and then how you was able to make it work. And it's like, because the biggest thing as a video producer, you wanted to jump out at the viewer.
Right.
They're being it's almost as if they're being hypnotized in a sense. I wouldn't go that deep, but just eye candy, and they're being stimulated. That's the word I want to use. And they don't even realize they're being stimulated, but the guy who does the editing and does the shooting knows what he's doing to make them be to stimulate their mind. And
exactly,
I saw those tricks. That we ain't gonna discuss those tricks. Then we can't be used.
Man, and I tell you what, it took days and hours around the clock, just scaling through all of that footage just to put those pieces together, to give them that stimulation.
Yeah. So I want y'all to close your eyes and envision this. Guy says, I want to shoot a video. I'll do the editing. I always wanted to do that. Never seen a video editing program before. Just coming off a limb, right? And we wouldn't even be having this discussion if it was a failure. We wouldn't let y'all know that shit, because we look stupid too. Like, you just fucking pick some random guy off the street to edit your videos because he said he wanted to. Well, think about being a rookie, don't know shit about it. I mean, still a rookie, but I just completely green to the whole fact that everything in the process. Being handed a bunch of footage on file. I saw the files. None of them were none of them were named. It was all brand, you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whatever.
All over the place.
Yeah, just Ep.4 with a crazy number next to it that the computer gave as a name to it. So you have no idea what you're looking at. And trying to take that miscellaneous footage and puzzle it together all on your own. And you figured it out. You know, so next time around, like I said, you're going to be in the creative mode now because you know what you have to do.
Yep.
It just the troubleshoot. And that's why I was trying to stay kind of... Dude, it took me months. It probably took me a month to mix my first song down. Since I'm working on a year of actually having a studio.
How long it took you to learn the Pro Tools?
I'm still learning. You never stop learning. Yeah. I'm still learning. But being able to make... You don't have to learn everything to make something sound good.
When you first started using Pro Tools, it was kind of intimidating, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because there's so many things you could do. You just like... Your mind's all over the place.
It's just program. It doesn't give you... It's not like playing a video game where you just hit the start button and you got your... Everything is... You know, has to be in a manual that comes with everything. And if you actually look at the manuals that come with these fucking things, they're the most boring technical books that you could read to try to figure this stuff out. Because if you don't know the terminology,
right,
then you fucked anyway. Because you don't even know what that is.
From the start.
What helps us out today is I figured I could YouTube anything but conspiracies nowadays. So this look, he must know we on right now.
Yeah.
He's messaging us.
Yep.
Shout out to O.Verses in Colorado, kicking back, smoking that good, because it's legal. To the secret speakeasy. I'm sorry, he's over here texting. What's he got?
I don't even know.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry. Well, we'll get back. The instruction manuals that come with these programs are just really hard to understand. Thank God for YouTube. I think that may have saved me because I went to YouTube school and I went and just watched video after video after video.
That's the same thing I did for the video editing. You know, I went to YouTube school, and it helps.
It does. It doesn't. Put it this way: it doesn't make you an artist. But what it does is
point you in the right direction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have to. You'll have to still put your hands on it to actually figure it out.
Oh,
but
of course.
It just gives you that. Oh shit! That's where that's how you open a file. You know what I mean? Or
right.
That's how you import the audio. Little shit like that, and you get into the technical details and how to use the effects. Like they'll have a video probably just on how to create a certain effect that you're looking to do with the video program.
Oh, they did. I'll tell you what, they had a lot of interesting stuff on there to utilize, and now the program that I'm using to video editing, I'm already looking at a much bigger one now, a more sophisticated one that allows you to do a lot more effects and little details that like some of the people in Hollywood use. Some of them even use the same program I'm looking at, Premiere Pro. So,
dude, there's thousands of them.
Oh yeah,
you kind of, it's like buying a car. I guess you don't know which. All of them can get you to your destination,
right? But
everyone it's really just to the personal liking, because like Pro Tools is just one program. It's not the end all be all. It's only one. So the way Pro Tools works is, it has its differences. That Logic I want to say Logic. Yeah, I'm not saying this right. You got Pro Tools, you got Logic. I think Logic is like number 2 to Pro Tools, and Studio One. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's Logic who makes Studio One. It's number 2 to Pro Tools, and it's like Ford and Chevy. It goes back and forth.
Right.
Like, it depends on what you're looking to do. One thing that Pro Tools has is the best, the real professional, real expensive version is what they use to edit movies in Hollywood and shit like that. Like, it's
that's cool.
You know, the audios and stuff. You can actually they do have a Pro Tools video program, but it's really expensive.
Right. Premiere Pro actually has a mixer on there too.
Okay, yeah. There's a lot of them that do both. This Pro Tools, and a lot of programs are set up, and you may seen that from doing shopping with the video programs, is that instead of buying the whole thing outright, there's a monthly version of it. And and you just keep paying a monthly like you pay your light bill. You never stop paying.
The Premiere Pro is like $300
a month.
No, buy it for the year.
Oh, per year. Is there a monthly plan too, or is it, you just keep buying it like you spend $300 every year?
Yeah, like for the yearly because after the year's up, you got to get a new license for it.
Right, which is like the little security key.
Yeah.
And I pay monthly on Pro Tools, and it's $30 a month for this version, which is really good for music.
Right.
Then the more expensive one is like $80-something a month.
Dang.
And that's what they use to do the video because of the movie factor. You know,
right,
the way they do the movie editing with it. But it's a real. I mean, I like it now. I'm comfortable with it. I'm confident with it. Like I said, you never stop learning everything. You don't master.
Right.
And they're constantly updating it, but you just get better and better as you go along. And it gets, the better you get at it, and if you really enjoy it, the more you want to get back on it. You know,
right.
You know what I mean? So it becomes addictive. You know,
right,
and it's an art form. Like, even, like creating the music is an art, right? The writing process, that's one art by itself. Performing it is a whole nother art. Engineering it, mixing it, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's a whole nother art. Then we do the visuals, which we go out in the field and we shoot these. That's an art in itself.
Like, I'll tell you what, it's gonna get better and better. Cause like the ideas and the plans we have in store, it's gonna get better and better.
For sure.
Yep.
And like the visual side of it, like going out in the field work that we do when we film. You know what I'm saying? That's an art in itself. And then the final process of editing the video, that's a whole other art. So you're dealing with like 6 different, arts that you have to. I'm sound crazy. Arts, 6 different arts, but 6 different creative processes that are involved in just creating a song.
Right.
Because each of them have their own technical sweet spots and details and tricks. So that's why I call them their art in themselves.
Well, of course,
separate art in itself.
It is an art,
for sure. And not everybody can do all of them. Like great artists aren't great engineers. Mixed. There's a strong spot. Everybody has a strong spot in the process. I know a lot of artists who don't perform anymore, don't sing. They actually moved on to being an engineer, and like trickle down on that. Being a producer, making beats, trickle down on that. Shooting videos, trickle down on an outside part of the game, but being the artist first kind of led them in that direction.
Right.
And you want to be able to multitask. You want to be able
to branch out.
Right. You want to the more resourceful you are, the better.
Right.
Then that's what you want to bring to the table. And in today's world, you gotta be faceted. You gotta be
because the audience wants it all.
Mm-hmm.
They want the visuals, they want the music, they want to see you perform live. They want it all, and you gotta be able to deliver.
Right. Music by itself ain't gonna cut it. It's not gonna cut it at all. Music is now just something that grabs the attention. Like, why are you liable? Why are you worthy of me watching you with your content? What can you do? Oh, I'm a musician. Oh, okay.
Right.
You know, well that's why I watch. That's why I buy his shirt. That's why I watch his live videos. That's why, because he can really, he's a really good artist. And they don't give a shit about the art. They don't spend the money on the art anymore.
No,
it's
they
so
don't.
much of you. They
Ain't
spend the
that
money
crazy,
on
though?
you, not the art. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. It's insane. Like artists ain't appreciated as much anymore, man. That's crazy.
No, I saw an interview with Will Smith, and he worded it the best I could say, is that back in the day, when he first came out, which even before then, up until today, when an artist was larger than life, like just a performer, entertainer, larger than life, you couldn't touch him. Now it's the opposite with the social media and the internet. Now it's the opposite. They want to feel like they chilling, sitting in the room with you,
right?
And that's why these live videos and the content is actually taken more serious and like more profitable than the actual art itself, because that makes them feel connected and close to you,
right?
Yeah. That's why podcasts, what we're doing here, is so cool, because they don't look at you larger than life when you're on that video, when you look like, everything, it's all lights and glamour. You know what I'm saying?
They feel like they sitting right next to you in the room,
Right.
having a closed door conversation with some friends.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you're just a normal guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're a human being just like
Yeah.
me. Yeah, no shit. Yeah. All we do is we have a talent that gets put in front of, in a visual. That taps into your senses. A carpenter is a goddamn genius. A master carpenter is just as talented as Mariah Carey. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's how any blue collar job, it just doesn't get treated as a stardom position. You're not a star because you can build a house so beautiful, without any flaws in it. You know what I'm saying? And we don't, that's just the way our perception is. It's kind of silly, because I think art is just as solid to the world as a carpenter, to me.
Oh yeah.
As a master mason, and the reason why is because we need it. It's great it's psychology. What you call it? It's our shrink. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Being able to go and pay not just music too, like going to the movies on Friday night.
Yeah.
Is therapeutic.
Kind of yeah, therapy.
It takes your mind off.
It's like an outlet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We can even football. Shit, look at the way we act over football on Sundays.
Yeah. Act up.
Right. The whole world stops on NFL Sunday for those 3 hours, 3.5 hours your team's playing, bro.
Yep.
Nothing matters but that game. Even in the city, the crime rate disappears during the Saints game.
Everybody's watching
the fucking game. As
Yeah.
soon as the game's, hour after the game starts, then those fucking phone calls start coming in. It's been confirmed. Like, dude, it's just quiet as a mouse. The police are probably sitting right next to the criminals at the ballroom watching the fucking game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're hanging out together. Nobody can, it's weird the way it brings people together.
Oh,
art does that generally.
Music, music does the same thing.
Right,
yeah.
you go to Voodoo Fest. It's a bunch of different people hanging out. Oh, you didn't look like the same,
Right.
I didn't know somebody that looked like you would like this artist, you know what I'm saying? Where y'all from? Where you can't, and then it brings people
Kicks
together.
off the conversation.
Yep. Right. We're all the same at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Well, we just drove that one into, now it's time to really drag. Whew. Jeffrey Epstein, bro.
Oh, man.
You taught me a lot of stuff that I didn't know before we started recording.
I know. Well, let's take a look at it, man. It all started back in 2005 when a woman contacted Florida's Palm Beach Police Department that her 14-year-old stepdaughter had been taken to Epstein's mansion by an older girl. So here you have it, an older girl out here doing Epstein's dirty work, bringing him underage girls.
He hired somebody to actually be a manipulator.
Yeah,
right? Like
pretty much. And then when she was brought to the mansion, she was paid $300 to strip and massage Epstein. She had got undressed, but left during the encounter she left basically wearing nothing but her underwear when she left from the house.
Did she leave willingly, or she snuck out?
It doesn't say that. That's a detail we probably would never know.
Yeah, right.
They're gonna leave that detail out. But they said after that, the police began a 13-month undercover investigation of Epstein that included a search of his house. And there they found out where Epstein paid several girls to perform sexual acts with him. Interviews with five alleged victims and 17 witnesses. There was also a high school transcript and other items found in Epstein's trash and at his house, and it shows some of the girls were under the age of 18. So there was more than just that.
So he
one.
had this shit on a transcript. Yeah. That's documentation. So he had this shit documented.
Well, he wasn't that smart about it. Obviously, he just throwing the shit in his trash.
Powerful.
You know?
He felt like
he did. Yeah, he was that powerful. So
fuck it.
Yeah. So
he didn't know he could be. He didn't think he could be touched. Let's put it that way.
And not only that, they found out he had like installed cameras around the house to catch like other people performing sexual acts with these underage girls that were kind of powerful, you would say, to use it for blackmail.
Dude, that's dope. That's some gangster shit.
Yeah.
Bro. So what you're to keep his nose clean, or to gain more power.
Right.
Because one of the guys you actually, like, the names of the people who've actually been accused of being the blackmailed.
Right.
That have denied it. These are powerful people.
Yeah. One of them was Prince Andrew, Duke of New York. That was one of the named people that was on one of those cameras.
What? New York. Is it Newark?
Duke of York.
Oh, Duke of York.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you said New York.
I'm tripping.
Wait, I didn't know they had Duke.
Yeah, Prince Andrew, Duke of York. Yeah.
Right. So he pulled these people in, sucked them in, got them that pussy that they wanted. That was some illegal pussy.
Yeah.
And filmed it so he can continue to get his illegal pussy with no problems, and also get whatever he wants in that country. Or whatever area that person controls.
But think about it, though. Didn't they say Clinton flew to him in his private jet like 26 times?
Yep.
So you
Clinton,
think...
how you say his name? Bill.
Dude,
Clinton. I can't do the Bill voice. Yeah, I only flew in the thing 26 times, Dude.
That's a lot of times to be going to this
right.
guy's house, man.
Right. Well,
you can only imagine what he was doing there, knowing all this is going on, because this has been going on for years. This ain't the first time.
I watched a clip today of Joe Rogan talking about it with a comedian, Tom Papa, something.
Right.
Well, they mentioned the fact that he flew 26 times in Bill Clinton's plane. Bill Clinton flew with Epstein 26 times. Been confirmed. He says, dude, I fly all the time. He's a comedian. I fly all the time. I've never flown maybe 3-4 times with some of my closest friends. Right. And he talked to Jamie, who's the producer of his podcast, and he said, bro, how many times I've flown with you? 2, 3, So we talking about 26 times. 26 flights in a private plane on a personal level. You know,
That's a lot.
You don't even think Epstein leaked, like, cause let's say if, you know, let's say you smoke weed, right?
Right.
You kicking it with so and so for business purposes the first time. You seem like a cool cat. If you want to smoke this joint, but you don't want to tell him right up front, you try to kind of squeeze your way in to your skeletons to see if you get you got the same
draw
skeletons,
them out,
right?
Yeah.
Right. Find it in. It took 26 flights. And he never said nothing. Nah. They probably got drunk. Yeah, dude. They was on
the same level, bro.
That's
crazy.
Well, it's how powerful this guy was, and nobody really knew about him. He's one in attorneys, dude. That's why they say be a doctor or be a lawyer.
Be a lawyer, yep.
It's actually, I don't want to diss the attorneys in the world, but it's almost like a bullshit job.
Right.
Because the shit that you got to go through to get there, that's a lot of large education that you have to do. But it becomes a money game after that.
Right.
And I know from my own,
Well, they said Epstein was pretty powerful, man. They said what he served for the first time was 13 months in custody, and then during those times, they said he was able to leave 12 hours a day.
Yeah, that's some Pablo Escobar shit.
Yeah, 12
Pablo
hours a day, and then the police that was driving him around had to dress up in suits. And he was paying for Epstein was paying for all of these things, for all these services. That his cell door was never locked. He had access to a TV in his attorney's office. So I'm just as you read on about it, it's he was some powerful.
That's what I'm saying. That's some Pablo. I never heard of it.
So you just got put in jail for doing child prostitution and everything, and these are the privileges you're given to? No, I mean, I'm just saying, just a sentence, 13 months for child prostitution and sex trafficking.
He's still getting laid.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
that's mind blowing.
I was trying to put this into perspective for people. That what I mean by some Pablo Escobar shit. If you don't know the Pablo Escobar story, everybody knew what he was doing, right?
Right.
The government was able to swindle him enough to come to court and take a charge, but he was so powerful that he was able to tell him, I'll do it, but I'm going to build my own prison. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I won't leave, and I want this in my prison. So he basically just built himself a beautiful place where he can go and he ain't gotta leave. You know what I mean? And they were cool with it because they felt as if, well, at least he's not out in the world wreaking havoc. He's doing his own thing he was still running his organization from that place. He had so many people hiring that he would just get whatever he wanted brought to him however he wanted. He liked to play soccer, and what he would do is that he was that kind of gangster where you couldn't win the game. Right. Whatever team you was on.
They said the judges would wear ski masks to the court hearings just because they were scared they would whack them, right? And kill them off.
We won't get to Pablo, but that's what that reminds me of. Yeah. When you say he was able to kind of just have his own man, he pulled a bunch of strings to plead guilty. Well, I'll plead guilty if I get this, and you know what I'm saying? And it's like
he must have had a lot of people on those cameras. That's all I can think of.
That's glorified house arrest. He probably never even had nothing on his ankle.
Probably for something that serious.
Right, any one of us would be.
And they don't even even look down on him just because he got all that money. It's okay.
Yep. Well,
that's crazy.
And then how many? What he got arrested again, right?
Yeah.
In 2008. Was it is it any of this really arrest or is it just? Like,
they claiming it was arrest, but it doesn't sound like it. But they said he was a level 3. Let me see. He was a level 3 sex offender, and
so
in 2011.
What does that mean?
I guess there's like I guess level 3 means.
Let's find out, brother.
Yeah. Pull that up on your phone. But from what I'm saying, from what I'm reading, level 1 is a low risk, and probably level 3 is like you're more than likely gonna repeat.
I ain't even finished typing that shit into Google. It's the 4th search. What is a level 3 sex offender?
There you go.
And it's probably because it's popular right now because everybody's reading
the same thing. Yeah.
Look, what the hell is fucking level 3?
Level 3.
They even got level 4. So we're gonna
Jesus Christ.
We're gonna drop.
Epstein didn't make level 4.
All right. So what is it? All right. So here's your levels. We'll go straight to level 3, where the board determines that the risk of reoffense is high and the degree of dangerousness posed to the public is such a substantial public safety interest is served by active decimation. It shall give a level 3 designation to the sex offender. The public shall have access to the information regarding a level 3 sex offender through the Framingham Police Department. I don't know if this must be something for that Framingham. And through the Sex Offender Registry Board. Well, what's a level 1 then? Alright, so a level 1, the public don't have to know about it.
Right.
Let's see what 2. Information. Alright, so once you get to level 2, which must mean, I don't understand how you get from level 1 to level 2, like if you're a sex offender. Your offense is low, and so all right. So every time you do it, you must move up the ladder. I'm assuming. So level 2, the first time it's like it's a slap on the wrist kind of thing, I guess. So
right.
Level 2, level 3, and then level 4. What is this? You castrate them? Because there's a level 4.
Jesus. That's
I mean, right. That's
why they need that many levels, bro. You're a fucking sex offender. You're a sex offender.
All right. So a level 4 is a sexually violent predator. Refers to a person who has been adjudicated. Yeah, that's right. Adjudicated, guilty of a sex offense or acquitted on the grounds of mental disease or defect of it. Like so that's on some fucking Ted Ginn shit or some whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, like crazy shit.
Right.
You didn't pass you can't be fixed.
Right. But they also say part of that level 3 sex offender deal, he had to report to the New York Police Department every 90 days for a checkup, which was never enforced. They never enforced it.
Because he just didn't give a fuck. He probably paid these people. Whoever was his probation officer or parole officer or hearing officer, he probably paid them off. Like, how much you want just to say came?
But that's insane. Like, this guy was, had that many strings to pull.
As an attorney, how you get away with being an attorney after all that shit? Then, he can, because he was a work release program. So you're leaving work as a sex offender and going to court.
6 days a week, 12 hours a day, yeah.
Going to court. Now, he may have been so big that he ran the firm, and he had lawyers under him, but still.
Right.
Why would people want to work for you anymore after that?
I don't know, man.
Not just work for you, but want to hire this firm. And I think that's how powerful this guy was. He pulled a lot of string. He must have took care of a lot of people to get his way, or blackmailed a lot of people.
I'm telling you, they didn't name all the people that he had on those cameras, and I'm sure they would never release that, but that's insane. To
be able to have, he's Burger King, bro. Have it your way. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was able to do whatever he wanted.
whatever he wanted.
Go.
All
I
that
want
money.
you. I want you to do this. See if you can find him. Jeffrey Epstein's cellmate. That's probably all you gotta Google. Watch this, cause we're gonna dig now. We'll go into the suicide. This is where the real shaking your head begins. Like, what the fuck? Watch the picture of this motherfucker. Look at
Jesus
this dude.
Christ.
You should see the guns on this dude, bro. Like,
Look at
that motherfucker.
Jesus Christ.
Look what he was in there for. Now, supposedly, this guy was in the cell with him when he committed suicide on suicide watch. On suicide watch. Without anybody watching.
Right.
Look at that gangster. Dude, that dude is...
A Hulk-looking ex-cop facing a death penalty on federal murder and drug charges was reportedly Jeffrey Epstein's cellmate at Manhattan's Correctional Center. That's insane. This dude looks like
Now,
Hulk Hogan in his prime.
Now here's where the questions come into play about what really happened. Did he commit suicide? Look at that motherfucker. Or did somebody put that motherfucker in there to put a hit out on him? Who would be more than happy, because when you go to jail, they say it all the time. Like, true criminals, that are in there for whatever they're in there for, as long as it's no sick in the head shit.
Right.
They want you put Jeffrey Epstein in population, and the gangsters are gonna knock his fucking head off because of what he's in there for.
Right.
A rapist, that's protective custody right out the gate. You know what I'm saying? You're manipulating. You all over the TV because population sees your ass on TV.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They watching the news. They watch the fucking news every day. All the news and the soap operas. That shit all day, every day. But everybody wants to get a piece of your fucking ass. And this dude here, who's a police officer, who's really a thug, dressed as a police officer, probably has a daughter. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean,
thinking, bro, this dude could have did that to my daughter.
Manipulating and molesting kids is what this fucking dude is basically in prison for. Right. Multiple charges. He's fucked up in the head. He's a multiple offender on this. And they put this guy in the cell with him.
It wouldn't take much to pay him off to take him out for you.
That dude could choke him with one hand.
Oh, yeah.
Probably hold him up in the air and kill him like that. Wow, one hand. That dude looks bigger than Hulk Hogan. Look at the guns on that motherfucker. Even if he's not as ripped as he is in that picture.
Oh, like Mr. Clean on steroids.
Right, he's still jacked up.
Yeah.
So,
Jesus.
what, did he commit suicide? Was he let out? Did he sneak out? Or did this fucking dude lynch him and say, and then they said it was a suicide. We ain't gonna reveal our theories until after we done with this whole podcast. But it's just so many question marks, bro, about this case. And it's not over yet.
No, it's far from over.
Right.
They got a lot to investigate. Like, you gotta think about how many times the system failed. Like, just allow this guy to just weave his way through the loopholes and allow him to do this over and over again.
Well, hopefully he was dumb enough to leave all this blackmail footage somewhere stored away in his house where he was able to get.
Well, if that's what he lived off of to get his way, I'm sure there is. I'm sure. Unless he paid somebody to get rid of all the evidence.
Dog, what's really itchy about this, bro, is where corruption comes into play. And human nature comes into play. We're talking about this right now because it's fresh.
Right.
the American public is probably not even giving a fuck about it at the time that we're talking about it. So in 2 weeks from now, nobody's gonna question what's up with that Epstein case. You know,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna question it, especially right now. You got the shit. By the end of the year, you're gonna have the election being number one in the news. Nobody's gonna give a fuck about this. So all of this is gonna. They don't even have to report on the shit in a couple weeks. You know what I'm saying? And nobody's gonna question it, bro. Nobody's gonna care. So what I'm getting at is, we trickle back to those cameras. Let's say they got those cameras. Who's investigating this? The feds?
The FBI.
The FBI, right.
Which is known for...
Well, they power players in the game, too.
Exactly.
They get invited, you know, the people who run the FBI...
So you can't even trust them to do an accurate investigation.
For us to get the right shit.
Yeah.
They getting the same shit that, you know, they're going to get this footage. It's got to trickle uphill to these FBI directors, the people who running the show. They see their homeboy smashing a 13-year-old. You know what I'm saying? Who they kick it with at part. With the first thing he's gonna do is try to figure out how can he get him out of it.
Right.
If he don't know about it already, you know, and fuck, you never know, man. One of the feds may have been running on them cameras too, and that's why he bust in that shit and got the footage.
They made sure to list only one person, but I'm sure there's many more.
But it was two. There's two that they came out with that I know of. The Duke, and then a senator from Arizona, if I'm not, and some old guy, bro. Some dude who looks like he can't even get it up anymore.
Jesus Christ.
And he's saying he ain't got nothing to do with it.
Well, I mean, you can't say you ain't got nothing to do with it if you're on camera.
We just deny. Well, yeah. I mean, he said.
Yeah.
The feds didn't come out and said that these are the people that they investigating. The woman, she's a woman now, that the one who went public and said that so and so manipulated her into the Epstein house to do the massage and she continued to, you know, like she had this stuff on him. I think. That may be how many people came forward, because we may be talking about two different people who came forward, but I saw one where the woman came, because I don't think one girl going over there one day and getting a $300 massage is gonna know. They probably don't even know where where York is.
Right. From what I was understanding, it went up to about 80 victims. So.
Right. So one of the ones that came forward is the reason why these names got dropped.
Yeah, it was quite a bit of people, man.
Well, dude, you seen his island, bro?
No, I didn't see the island. I didn't get a chance to look at it.
This sick motherfucker.
Well, I've heard some details about it though.
Well, what they said, he had a fake cow. All right.
Yeah, that he would move around.
Right.
Yeah.
He would just randomly move it around just to make it look like he had a cow grazing.
Like what the fuck
are you doing that for? Yeah. Like, why the cow? You know. But he had the one of the build looked like a temple, looked like the old famous Jerusalem temple with the gold dome on the top.
Right.
Man, that's some money. That's probably real gold on top of that.
So you got to think about the money he's making legally, and then the money that he was making that nobody knew about from his little side hustles that he's got going on.
Put it this way: he was given an $86 million house.
Why would somebody just give away an $86 million
house? Well, what they say is that whoever they say signed it over had power of attorney over this person.
Right.
But it's still fishy. Like, why did this guy give you? You know, it was almost like a blackmail thing. What we get into, guys gave him an $86 million house to keep his name, you know, keep his nose clean. Dude, I didn't even know you can build an $86 million house.
So, wait.
How do you build an $86 million house?
I don't know. Out of diamonds, I guess?
How much is the White House worth?
Probably not that much.
Let's see.
Let's look it up.
Let's see. I'll find out. How would you, market value of the White House. Let's see if.
The White House's real estate listings is worth $397 million.
Damn.
Yeah, right there.
Okay,
Damn.
all right. Maybe because it's so historic.
Well, you got to think because of that, and you know, they probably got like some secret bunkers in there and shit.
Yeah, right. I mean, there may be more too. I think just the classic. The shit that's in there.
Dude, the White House is like a freaking museum that you live in.
So let's try to find things in perspective. All right, so net worth. Who's a famous actor? Give me one. Let's go. Brad Pitt. Net worth of Brad Pitt's.
They said that to build the White House would cost about $232,000. So roughly about $100 million today. So.
Right. Yes. But like most, and you may have seen that before. Like most famous people who's bought a house, right? I can't figure this out through the research. You never hear a number that big. Yeah, $10 million house, $15 million. I don't think I heard anything really over $15 million before on TV, and these are famous people. $86 million. How many rooms are involved in that? I mean, maybe that's location made it make it so high, but
look, this is a picture of what an $80 million house would look like right there.
All right, Ohio mega mansion. So it's obviously a mega mansion.
Exactly. Yeah. The guy who's being paid to cut all that grass is probably getting paid damn good. Just to keep up with his grass.
That's the only fucking lawn you need to cut.
Yeah. That's it. You probably working on that all week long, man. Look, cutting them bushes and everything.
Right.
So that's money, man. Just to keep up with the $80 million house.
Fucking right. Yeah, for sure. Like, my family has property. No many acres. Let's say about 60, 70 acres. And you're not cutting all that because it's woods. But
right.
Especially this time of year, bro. I mean, I'm not there 8 hours a day. But by the time you're done cutting one side of it, you know, when you get to the last end of whatever you're cutting, you pretty much got to go back to point zero by the time you get to that point and start over again. That's how fast it grows. I mean, so, yeah, keeping up with that is a challenge. You got they probably have people hired in-house that just, you know, like a butler or a house like that's got its own landscape, but dude's sleeping in one of them rooms. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Probably got his own shower, his own free room and board. That house got a chef, a butler,
everything, a nanny, a driver, You got everything.
You ain't doing shit. You ain't to keep up with that place. Somebody walking around dusting the walls and the janitor. You know what I'm saying? I mean, dude, to keep a house that big clean.
Yeah.
And I don't mean clean like, you know, you dirty the living room, pick it up clean. Just all the rooms that you're not going to go into every day. If you leave them alone, they're just going to pile up with dust.
So you clean.
It's constant. You're right.
It's constant work.
Constant work.
Every day.
Same thing with the lawn. By the time you're done finishing with that last room that you just dusted off, you got to go back to the other one. You know what I'm saying? Back to the one you started at.
That's crazy, man. But $80 million house given to him, probably, through blackmail, you said?
He had power of attorney of the original owner.
Right.
That was signed over. The question is, why would you give somebody like that power of attorney of your shit without any kind of just to be my buddy, you know you're my attorney. I'm just.
So it sounds like he had a video of him, and he's like, "I want that house. You gonna sign it over to me, or you? This is what's gonna happen."
Sounds like a fishy situation.
Yeah.
And this dude's got so much dirt on him that he was gonna supposedly commit suicide get put on suicide watch and still commit suicide on suicide watch.
Right.
That's bullshit. And then they making excuses for the deputies. Oh, what happened was the reason why. So, you know, man, I don't want to hear that shit. There's no way. No way.
Yeah.
It's not it's a small jail that he was in. Like, it's really hard to leave somebody like that neglected, I would think. In a small jail like that. He should have some...
Yeah. It sounds like all the other times he had paying the police to take care of him for all his services, and like he had all those privileges all those other times. So what makes you think this time was any different?
Dude, I don't understand. If you really wanted to take this dude down and you caught him trying to commit suicide, you could probably start a GoFundMe account.
Right.
Where the GoFundMe would pay the deputies around the clock to keep an eye on him, overtime, time and a half, whatever it takes to get this dude buried. Man, we ain't gonna say what we think happened to him. We're gonna leave that conclusion till the end.
You gotta wait till the end to get that.
It always brings up the end of the day what the Clintons got to do with this, bro.
Man,
what the Clintons got to do with it. So we do ask the question. Even though I don't know, but based on the history of the Clintons, you would think they got something to do with it.
Oh, I'm sure they do, man. All the stuff they got their hands in.
Well, you said he flew on the plane
26
times, bro. You gotta
ask some
birds of the
questions
same,
after that.
Your parents tell you.
Yeah.
That was a golden rule. Birds of the same flock fly together. You know,
right.
I mean,
like my drill sergeant told me when I was in YCP, he told me if you hang with shit, you smell like shit.
Right. And they in politics, and just because they in politics don't mean they would hang out together. If they didn't like each other, they wasn't feeling each other's vibe, they would, Flight 2 would probably been the last time I'm flying with this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Get the fuck off my plane.
Right.
That's it.
Right. I'll find another private plane partner. I'm the president to kick it with,
Yeah. But I don't know, man. He flew 26 times, so that speaks for itself.
Yeah. And you go back into the Clinton conspiracies. And we did this earlier, right before we came on. We actually did some research, and I'm talking to the people, and tried to dig into a Clinton rabbit hole a little bit, just as a refresher, to know, see what we can find. And we noticed that if you did this same search 2 years ago, you would have found anything you wanted to find. We did that shit just now, and YouTube, the only thing that opened up, Fox News, CBS News, CNN
filter
News.
It now.
Right,
they're making sure, like, when you type something in, it doesn't just pop up anymore. You actually got to know what you're looking for and be on point about it.
Right. It's probably still on there, but you can't be as
It's not
vanilla.
as easy to find it.
Right. You got to be specific in the words that you use when you search for it. You got to know exactly what you're looking for.
Like, you can't even get, like, they used to have a thing where you just type in the Clinton conspiracies, and they have, like, a whole bunch of lists of things that they was involved in. Now, it don't even show that anymore.
And that goes back to the shit that happened earlier. Early this year, late last year, when they started censoring YouTube and Twitter, and they started kicking these people off of their political views.
And what it was because people becoming more woke to what was going on.
Right.
Too many people, like they said, man, look at all these people. They starting to come around. They starting to see what's really happening.
Right. They started.
So now they're gonna filter it to where you don't see it.
Yeah, and they opened up. They opened up an avenue with YouTube and Facebook, social media in general, the internet, because they really started doing this back as soon as the internet came out, but you didn't know unless you really knew what you were looking for. But now it became so easier with algorithms that it just will slap you in the face. You can look for something that separate from the Clinton. Like you may be looking up Bill Clinton's I don't know, Bill Clinton's car or something, whatever,
Right.
his house, but the Clinton's house. And under that, would be Bill Clinton tied to murders.
Right,
like
right,
a video
yeah.
about that somebody made. Well, that's what it did. It created a place where you can have stories and you can sit. You don't have to actually sit face to face with anybody to tell them the story that or you have knowledge on.
Right.
And that's what YouTube was initially created for, was to make a place where we who don't have a voice because we're not in Hollywood, we can
Right.
We can create our own stuff, being talented from
It was supposed to be unrestricted.
home project, right? Through
Right.
our home projects, and the government got involved when they didn't like the fact that people were starting to rebel against the status quo.
Right. Because it was exposing them. People started becoming aware of the truth that was really going on with the people that's supposed to be in power.
Yep. And the thing is, I think it even got so deep, and I think it's still involved, where people in the CIA and who control intelligence,
Right.
and seeing these conspiracies, whether they true or false, getting put on the internet. And I think there's an op that made them create their own videos to stray you away from the truth.
Misinformation.
That was really, and they know it meets the eye. You're going to watch the best edited video, best produced video you can find with the coolest information. And so, like they strayed you away from a lot of the conspiracy truths by putting their own theories out there and making it look like it was somebody at home who did their research,
right.
And it really wasn't. It was just a bullshit video. That they say the fucking, they'll find a reason to say that the Easter Bunny really existed one day,
Yeah.
fucking, but now it's got to where it didn't work as well, and it kind of got out of hand, and I think that's why they censored so many different people who have their own independent platform that speak to a lot of people. Like they say, we talked about this, that Alex Jones is a big reason why Trump won the election, because he had 1 million people watching this shit at a time on YouTube. Like that dude had, it was unreal how many people were watching him during the election. Like his numbers went. And we kind of stray away from the Clintons, but that's the reason why we're talking about that, is because one of the biggest stories that the Clintons are tied to so much of these conspiracies in the last 20 years. It's fucking unreal.
Man, it's mind blowing. Yeah, I mean, there's so many other ones that just doesn't even involve Epstein.
And one of the I had a conversation with my wife's great grandpa one day, and he was, before I really knew much about the Clintons being involved in all of this stuff, I didn't pay too much mind to it, but he brought up how he hated Bill Clinton, and he just started rambling on about, you didn't, when he was the governor of Arkansas, he was a big coke dealer. And it goes back that far.
Yeah.
It probably goes back even further than that. But he was a big coke dealer. I could see him being involved in pushing, whatever. But I didn't know how deep it was. Well, years later, it come out. Yeah, he was involved heavily in the coke business through Arkansas. They were using,
But how do these people remain in power though?
Because they're in power. They're the ones in charge, right? You kind of answered your own question. Well, this is crazy. When he was president, right? You know how he won the presidency,
right?
Well, he's tied to the Bushes. Do you ever notice? I don't know if you ever seen this when they in public together. Like they kind of speak highly of each other.
Yeah.
The Clintons and the Bushes.
All right. Oh yeah.
And people think that they try to present it as, it's just democracy. in its greatest light, because we disagree on the political stage, but we're all Americans. At the end of the day, we're all Americans, and this is
Some
what
bullshit.
democracy is about. And this is like, it's just like the golden era of democracy when George Washington got in an argument with John Adams, but it was all about the betterment of the country. Nah, that was bullshit. These motherfuckers were in bed with each other. And during the 80s, when you go back to the Bushes and find out when George Bush was the vice president with Ronald Reagan, and they had the coke deal, and that was going on with how the government was using the Colombian cartels, to their advantage, because they the same thing they were doing in the Middle East, like how they trying to take over one country at a time in the Middle East.
Right.
They were pushing that same agenda, and they were using the coke dealers, and they were paying off the cartels and arming the cartels the same way they said they armed terrorists in the Middle East,
right,
to get their job done, to keep their control, and they were using the cartels to do it. Well, and they were shipping coke in to the country at the same time, and they were using Arkansas as the landing point. So that movie with Tom Cruise, did you ever see that? Oh, I never watched it before, but there's a movie about Tom Cruise that it's a true story, supposedly, about a guy who was doing the importing for him in the 90s, in the 80s, in the 80s, whatever they were doing.
Didn't see it.
Oh, I don't.
What's the name of it?
Let's see. Let me find that out. Tom Cruise movie. Let's see. Import. Let's see if I can find importing coke.
Was it called American Made?
Yes, that is right. And look, Barry Seal. He was actually in the forthcoming true life crime tale. Cruise plays Barry Seal, an airline pilot who turned to drug smuggling for Pablo Escobar in the Medellin cartel in the 1980s. He also worked for the U.S. the DEA, and allegedly for the CIA. Well, he was shipping the same time that Clinton was the governor of Arkansas, was when he was doing this shit.
Right.
So it all ties back to the Bushes having something to do with it. So that's how they got in bed together. And if you notice,
So it's possible that the Bushes created that monster.
Possibly.
Right.
Right, we don't know. But what I'm saying is, during the 80s, so Bush daddy, George Bush Sr., was president from 88 to 92.
Right.
After the Persian Gulf War, he had like an 89% approval rating. How do you go with that kind of approval rating to be in, because he was pretty much uncontested, and then Bill Clinton comes out of nowhere and beats him in an election?
Yeah.
All right.
That is pretty crazy.
So they're working, just so happened this coke that ties back to the Bushes is being flown into Arkansas, where he's the governor, and then he wins the presidency after Bush is the man, for being a hero, for defeating the boogeyman, Saddam Hussein.
Right.
That's where it's really starts. So then he did his 8 years. He was able, and he did an excellent job of selling himself to the American people. He was the cool, there's no Obama without Bill Clinton, is what
right.
Just the cool guy that could sit back and you can have a drink with. He played the saxophone. I don't know if you remember that.
It sounds like you could do a whole lot more with him than just drink a beer with him.
Right. Well, yeah. But I mean, he was the first president that didn't seem so presidential.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He was really just a cool cat, and like I said, he knows how to play the saxophone. So he went when he was running for during this election when he was running, he went on like Arsenio Hall, and performed and played the sax for everybody. So the country fell in love with him.
Right.
And it was a selling tool. He actually was involved in. You talked about. You just brought up. Remember how people were doing hard? How does Jeffrey Epstein get away with all this bullshit?
Right.
And only does 13 months. Gets sentenced to 13 months after doing an insidious crime like that.
Right. And they got other people who just get caught with a possession charge and do some hard time.
Clinton has a big part to do with that, because in the 90s, that's when they signed into law like the 3-strike rule and that's why a lot of people are doing hard time over marijuana, right? Like doing years over multiple offense marijuana charges, and that's all it is. You're not a hardened criminal. You're selling weed. You know what I'm saying? Well, he signed this bill into law that put all these families in the prison for years and destroyed households over something like that. I would feel that you're destroying the house. You're putting a hurt on America more than you're putting a help on it by doing something like. You're not teaching anybody anything.
No.
When that zero tolerance drug policy come into effect, which started in the late 80s in the crack era, where you brought this the hood didn't figure out how to cook crack on their own, bro.
Right.
That shit was brought. They didn't bring the guns and the drugs, and that shit was put in there. It was planted in there. So what happens is you get this best of both worlds where you're making money off of bringing dope in. So you're getting paid off bringing dope in the country. Then you're turning around and invested in arresting these motherfuckers. Because you invested into the zero tolerance drug policy. As a government, you think about this in a business sense, that money circulates when these people go to jail. A lot of people get paid. Well, you're busting people for drug offenses, especially your low-end offenders. So it's a trickle-down thing where you get paid off bringing it in. Then it's going to get to the big dealer who's going to bring it down to these smaller dealers and into the hands of users. And you're arresting these users on a frequent basis. Well, every time a user gets arrested, money's coming out the pocket. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it just makes sense for you to make your most money by getting it on multiple, that's a lot of passive income. You know what I'm saying? You're getting it on both sides. Well, now we're going to talk about private prison system. Do you know anything about private prisons?
I know a little bit about them, but not a whole lot.
So what they say is the private prison system really thrived off of signing this bill into law, where your 3-strike zero tolerance policy rule, where you can make these people do hard time off of shit like selling weed or
so
just
it's like a private business
3 times.
There, huh?
Yeah. So
it's a business.
It is, and what they say is the prison population is too heavy, so they would let businesses privately buy a prison, and since they bought the prison and it's their prison and they're helping out the government, they're able to choose the criminals that they want. It's like a menu, and they get to look at which ones they want to come to their prison.
Right.
In turn, is what they do. It's modern day slavery is what it is. Once you get put in this system, you're fucked. So then they take these prisoners and bring them there. And they don't want Charles Manson. They don't want your killer. They don't want the guy that fucking choked up Jeffrey Epstein, right? They don't want that guy. They want people like marijuana offenders who aren't hardened criminals, who are just civil people. You know, that's the ones they're gonna
Just trying to roll them up a little joint, yeah.
Right. So what they do is they take these guys, put them in their prison, and get them to, on these private prisons, they're making like they're making things for retail. Either there's farms where they're growing potatoes and vegetables and fruits, clothing. They train these prisoners to have a job. And the prisoner's gonna want to do it, because if not, then you're gonna just
be in
sit
a cell all
right?
day.
So it keeps you busy. You're getting paid how much they make a day? I don't know, a couple cents a day, whatever the fuck their pay is, which you would normally have to turn around and pay, at least minimum wage to somebody if you didn't open.
You paying these dudes like 20 cents a day.
Right.
Probably not even that.
And then what corporations buy these prisons up. And what they do is they'll buy them under a subcontractor name. Like Walmart owns private prisons. So all our little shirts that,
probably get made by prisoners.
Right. My your $5, $7 corn shirt that you may have bought from Walmart. You know what I'm saying? You know how they get,
This came from a Hot Topic, but I'm pretty sure they got
the Walmart
version.
Too. Yeah, like I got a Tupac shirt. The one I wore last week. I bought that from Walmart for like $7. So they don't buy them under Walmart. They'll start a sub corporation, like a sub company, a subcontractor company, and name it whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, Walbrooks LLC or something.
Right.
Like just change
something that doesn't involve prison, so you don't think about it.
Completely takes the attention off of them.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and if you really do the research, you could paper trail it. And then they basically buy their products from themselves under that contractor name, and they making killer profits at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what he signed into law, and he did it for a reason, because it's a kickback. It's a government kickback. That's just one of the dirty things. So people think that the dirtiest thing that this man did was Monica Lewinsky. That head job ain't shit.
Right.
That's the blessing right there. That's a good man, if that was the only thing he did.
Shit.
And we get into Hillary, bro. She seems even worse. Like, she ain't even trying to hide it.
She's like the devil, bro.
He seems like the nice guy, the sheep in wolves' clothing. This bitch is a Tasmanian devil.
Yeah.
She looks like she wants power more than anybody else. They said she was a bitch when he was in office. Like, Secret Service agents said that she was just a fucking cunt, right? Just make her...
Didn't she make that comment to Bill one time? Like, can you keep your dick in your pants?
I'm sure she did. I wouldn't be surprised.
After all that trouble, he had just gotten into all that trouble about them sex accusations.
Right, with Monica Lewinsky.
And she turned around and told him, can you just keep your dick in your pants for once?
I wouldn't be surprised if she did say. I don't know for sure. I mean,
she's
we may be able to
huh?
find it. Right, if we look at it, we can probably find it. But if he got caught in the White House getting head job, in the Oval Office, you know what I'm saying? His cum stain is probably still on the rug.
On the fucking rug, yeah.
They might have even marked it, because that's history. You know what I mean? That's
Clinton Seaman.
Right. Bill Seaman.
Bill Seaman, yeah.
If he got caught doing that, he probably didn't keep his... He probably never even slept... he probably slept with Hillary one time.
Oh, yeah.
When they had the daughter, whatever, her, Chelsea. He slept with her one time. He probably fucked everybody. That might have been artificial insemination. The way that crazy bitch is.
Bro, I don't know. Hillary probably I don't know. She seems more like lesbian type, dude.
She does. She does,
because the way she acts, she seems like she feels like she's the man. Yeah. The way she carries herself.
Well, we can get... Yeah, they said she ran the show. The whole thing about him getting into politics at all was all her plan. Like, that the conspiracy theory is that he was... he was just doing her dirty work. She really ran the show.
I could see that.
She's a power trip. She wants to rule the world. you know, and that's why she was so devastated when she lost the election. They said that bitch went off when she lost the election.
When she learned she lost, she didn't know how normally they come out and say, and they do like the little interview or whatever. They said she disappeared.
Well, she that's definitely disappeared out the public eye for a long time.
Yeah.
And did you see all videos about her like having seizures and passing out and?
No, I didn't see all that.
Oh, during the election, they said that she wasn't even. One of the things was she wasn't even physically capable of running the Oval Office. Like they had to keep her drugged up the whole time.
To keep it going.
Dude, they had a video. You never seen it after, you know how they travel the country and when they campaign and go to city. There was a video that got leaked of her passing out, and they had to like carry her into the. You know, like they video her carrying into her caravan.
Man, I tell you what, there was so much being put out there on the internet during election season. We're gonna see it again soon. It's coming.
It's coming.
Oh, it's coming.
This is round 2. This is gonna be even better.
Oh yeah. With Trump trying to keep it and stay in the White House.
I think it's gonna be a little easier for him.
I think it's going to get much nastier.
It might get nasty, but he's going to run through whoever, because they're not going to let anybody really run against him. Joe Biden don't stand a chance. We discussed that. I mean, we carried in the election, but the Clintons, I don't know. That was when the Democrats.
They're going to be coming at him hard, bro. They bringing it this time.
I can't believe they gave her. You know, they say she stole the nomination
from Sanders,
last time. Right. He really won the nomination, and she stole it from him. They hacked the DNC. And they tried to blame that shit on the Russians too, bro.
Yeah.
Speaking of Russians, we gotta keep this the uranium deal.
The Uranium One deal. Yep.
Right. The Clinton Foundation basically was a scam to steal as much money as they can, because supposedly when they got out of office, they were like broke. You know, they didn't have their finances were fucked. Like they were gonna go bankrupt, so they had to figure out another scam to get their money right. So they started the Clinton Foundation. And the uranium deal is one of the biggest deals that the Clinton Foundation was able to get their hands on.
Where they sold a big bulk of America's uranium to the Russians.
Right, a big a uranium contract that gave...
Why would you sell that to one of your biggest rivalries in the nuclear arms race?
Right, well, obviously he's not a rivalry.
Yeah.
You know, I mean... That
just speaks a lot.
Right. The way they talk about us against Russia... You would think that's like selling it to fucking Al Qaeda.
You're gonna sell them the fuel to deliver that warhead here. So it just show you they're not as big of a threat you think they are.
Right. So Russia's in control of like more uranium than America is. I think after that deal. I think it was in Texas. I think where they have uranium. I think it was in Texas. Is like the state that they used to drill the uranium or dig the uranium.
I think it was Texas.
And they got their hands, which ties right. Who's the biggest family in Texas?
The Bushes.
The Bushes.
Yep. And they said, man, they received a lot of money from the Russians too, from that deal over the course of years.
Right. Well, then you get into, this is where the kickbacks come into play in the corporate, the super PACs. You ever heard of a super PAC? Shit like that?
No.
So basically what that is lobbying. Right. You know how they lobby politicians and pay them through these, they pay them through these super PACs. And it's loopholes in campaign policy where you can pay, you can't pay them directly, so you pay them through these separate entities and make this web of money that leads back to their candidacy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, what Clinton would do and how he would get these kickbacks is he would, after the election, after his term was over, he would go do these speeches under the Clinton Foundation.
Yeah,
get paid like $250,000
just to go do
speak for 45 minutes. That was one of the, deals in the uranium deal, is for him to go speak and make these fucking crazy amount of dollars to go just bullshit, because that's what he is. He's a good bullshitter. And go bullshit with people for an hour.
He's definitely good at that.
And he gets even dirtier with these cats. About the Haiti earthquake. Remember the Haiti earthquake?
Yeah, I remember the earthquake.
Real bad. Well, the Clinton Foundation stepped their nose in, tried to look like the heroes of the Haiti earthquake and go in and, basically like be the FEMA of Haiti and get donation. And people donated millions and millions of dollars to this foundation that was supposedly going to helping Haiti, and rebuild Haiti because they didn't have the money. Well, they brought contractors in that they were buddy with, and it was a big scam. Haiti still looks like shit. Right. You know what I'm saying? They didn't fix anything that they said they were going to fix. They just...
So where all that money went?
Fixed enough to look good on camera. They pocketed all that shit.
Exactly.
They left Haiti in shambles. What scares me is how they're able to manipulate the public to this day.
Over and over again.
And people still love Hillary Clinton and are upset at why she lost. And I'm not giving you the Trump stamp. But when it came to them two, I'd much rather see Trump win than Hillary. Because I felt like that bitch... There's something about that woman, bro, that just...
It just doesn't feel right.
Right.
Yeah.
It don't feel right. And all this evidence... And what the way they able to control the media narrative.
And look at that shit when she was Secretary of State under the Obama administration.
Right.
What happened in Libya.
Right.
Yeah.
People were so afraid of losing, like, the Democratic ticket that they hid everything from the public. People didn't even... They just voted on her, wanted her because she was a Democrat. Like, this woman, and they tried, the first woman president, man, fuck that bitch. Like, and they thought that they would, I think people liked Bill so much that they thought that that's what they're going to get. Right. Like, we're going to get Bill Clinton back maybe. I don't know, but the way they put her on a pedestal, and the evidence is just as easy as you was able to Google it, so was everybody else. And it was almost as like people that voted for her didn't care.
I'll tell you what, if Sanders would have won a nomination, that would have been a much harder to go sit there and choose. Because I say Sanders had some good selling points. I like some of that, like the free education. I did like that. Right. But when it came to Hillary, and between Hillary and Trump, it was like a no-brainer, dude. There was no way I was voting for that bitch.
It's almost as if, alright, you cannot be in power that long because you're going to get exposed. Even if you're not the devil, in the way that the shit that they got their hands tied in, and all the names that are put, all the blood that's on their name.
Yeah.
And to still be able to almost get... Right here, from winning that ticket, right here.
It was close.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think Bernie Sanders probably would be president if he won.
I think so too.
I mean, it would have been a different
outcome.
Different argument, right? A different outcome. And I could be wrong. Trump might have still won, but it would have been who knows?
Well, a lot of people voted for Trump just because they didn't want to see Hillary get it. Yep. Because they knew some of those things. So,
well, a lot of the talking points that Bernie and Trump had in the beginning was similar. It was a change. They both had, and what I mean talking points is not, they didn't have the same solutions to them, but about, the loss of jobs and how, corporations left and went to other countries, and to make labor cheaper, and shit like that, and how it devastated the country,
Right.
and especially the Midwest, with Ford leaving Detroit in shambles, and because the taxes and shit got so high, supposedly, that it was just cheaper to just leave. They wouldn't be able to keep themselves in business if they didn't get out because it got so expensive.
Right.
And they had separate solutions to the same problems, but they both were addressing the same problems. And today, I don't think Bernie's gonna have the same stronghold if he gets the ticket as Trump. I think regardless if they don't, the same way Trump rose from out of nowhere, because he pretty much, nobody knew he was gonna, they treated it as a joke, they almost thought it was a stunt, just like a publicity stunt for him. To win, that means anybody can win, and that's, it just proves that anybody can win if it's done the right way. And I think they got a lot of solid candidates that can give him a run for his money, but they're so far behind in the politics of breaking through the Democrats,
Right.
that have the power, that they're not going to get it. He's going to win. He's going to get his 8 years.
I'll tell you what, this election season is going to be pretty interesting to watch. I will say more entertaining. I'm going to say more entertaining.
It's going to be hard to beat them fucking debates, bruh. Those Trump-Hillary debates was funny, dude.
Oh, what?
That shit was funny. That shit was fun. It couldn't. Even conspiracy.
That was probably one of the best president election seasons ever, dude.
It was. It was made for TV.
Oh yeah.
It was definitely a show. It was a shit show.
Very
but we
entertaining.
like shit. We like watching shit shows, bro. And
Dude, and I'll tell you what, the best shit talker I've seen on TV this fall is Trump, dude. He
For
can
sure.
talk some shit.
And he's trying to trump that last fucking. He's got to come better. This is the sequel. He's gonna try to come with it. He's gonna come with it. Now he might not be able to get away with some of the same shit that he said before.
Right.
Because when he was saying some wild shit
Right.
before he actually
Building a wall and making Mexico pay for it. That's some shit right
Well, no,
there.
I mean just the way he would speak about the outland, not how you said it. He would say it in a way, the motherfucking Mexicans are gonna pay for it, rather than just saying that we're gonna make Mexico pay for it. He would say this shit at his rallies.
He still talks
He
like
does.
that.
Well,
We
we
don't
get
give a fuck.
into the Epstein thing and how we talk about the Clintons, because we're
Oh no, yeah.
He fucking retweeted a conspiracy theory that the Clintons had Epstein killed, and this is why they had him killed. He retweeted that shit.
For the president to come out and say some shit like
Dude,
that. That just shows you don't give a fuck, bro.
No, and it makes him think that he really believes this stuff.
Right.
So the media is able to really dig at him and say this dude's a fucking nutcase. He's a conspiracy theorist. This is the guy we elected, blah, 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 blah. The truth is, bro, it's a good link between them two.
Yeah.
But Trump and Epstein were partners,
Well,
supposedly.
fuck. They sitting there trying to get him for the Russian collusion. Fuck. I mean, they didn't say that about
Well,
them.
dude, Trump and Epstein were partners.
Right.
Or I guess they were all, all these elite people in the club together, right? Because Trump went to the Clintons went to Trump's wedding. So they all kind of tied together somewhere down the line. They say Trump stopped fucking with Epstein. They got beefed out over a house. Fucking one of these houses, one of them stupid luxurious houses in wherever, one of the big cities, like a Beverly Hills kind of area or something, the Hamptons kind of area, where they both wanted this house, and they got mad at each other because they were both bidding on the house. I don't know, something stupid like that. But they've been falling out ever since that happened.
I guess Epstein didn't have no footage on Trump, I guess.
Right. He
didn't get his way that time.
But they had an old interview with Trump talking about Epstein, and he said that he's cool guy, real popular, powerful guy, and he's got a taste in women, especially young women, or some beautiful women, especially young beautiful women, or something crazy shit like that.
Oh, no shit.
So yeah, that's how deep back that shit goes. She might have been 15, painted her up like she was 18 or something.
Jesus Christ.
And that's cool. It's okay because it's legal. Still sick, but it's legal.
It's only okay if you got money, I guess, huh?
Right. But now when we on the Clintons, when I sent a video, an article, not a video, of the Clintons hit list. Because that's what I wanted to see. Their motherfucking hit list. Here we go. Clinton body count. We're gonna go, and this is how it's broken down. They broke it down into, there's so many people that they broke it down into different specialties.
Categories.
Yeah, like government officials, systematics, the Commerce Department, the Healthcare Task Force, investigators and reporters, INSLAW and systematics, the Vince Foster case, Waco massacre, Whitewater, Clinton murder volume, others. Alright, so
the Vince Foster case was also by suicide.
Which one? Oh, it was?
The Vince Foster case. Yeah, they said Vince Foster committed suicide. He shot himself in the mouth with a 38.
Right. Well, check this out. That's where they tie deep into the guy that just died last year. The dude that had the food show.
Yeah.
The guy, the exotic food guy that worked for CNN.
Yeah.
What the hell is his name? Hold up. I'm gonna find his name. I just saw it a little while ago. Motherfucker. We're gonna find it. Hold up. You know what I'm talking about, though, huh? You know what I'm talking about? The guy who supposedly committed suicide because he was depressed, but nothing ever made sense about him being depressed, but he just recently went out and...
Well, that's what they said about Vince Foster. He had a letter talking about he was going to resign, and he was, and supposedly he was going through a depression. That was the same thing that was said about Vince Foster, and he was like a White House counsel or some shit.
Yeah, like, it just doesn't make sense for them to kill themselves at that point in their life. They all, outside of that situation, they just seem so happy and everything.
Then all of a sudden,
their lives at a peak. Yeah, right. And they just whack themselves off for no reason, and then media just says it's depression. That's all it was.
But it's crazy how long this list is, man.
Yeah.
This is a pretty long list.
Right. Dude, I hate when I miss these names, bro. I just wanted to fucking find this guy's name. Oh, well. It's going to show up exactly when we don't want to hear it. Well, we're not looking for it. Alright, so yeah, you got the list. Let's start. The government officials. We'll start there. His name might be in here as I start digging. Vince Foster. He died of a gunshot wound to the head, ruled a suicide. Right? He was actually the highest ranking executive branch official since John F. Kennedy to meet an untimely death while still in office. Peak of his career, dies.
Yeah, that's insane.
Right. Ron Brown. You mentioned Ron Brown.
Right.
We're gonna. I don't want to. We're not gonna. I'm just gonna name. Oh, Dr. Stanley Hurd. Here's another guy that was. Oh, wait. Here's some more. Charles Menzer, Barbara Weiss. These are in the 90s. Investigators and reporters. Danny Casolaro. the investigative reporter investigating the Mena Airport, which is the Arkansas airport, which dies into the Iran-Contra.
Right.
That was the coke deal that the Bushes were involved in. So these investigative journalists find this information and get whacked off. Paul Wincher, another guy who was involved in the airport case.
The list just keeps going.
Jerry Luther Parks, hired by Hillary Clinton in 1982 to prepare a dossier on the woman Bill Clinton was seeing. Right?
Yeah.
So he was about to expose Bill for cheating on her and got him killed because that's going to ruin her political goals. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck, I don't care if he's fucking around as long as I get in power.
Right.
We that close, right? You know, all right, so Carlos Gigliotti, I don't know who the fuck. He was a key figure in the congressional investigation into the Waco massacre. And he died in 2000. So, what the hell the Waco massacre has tied to the Clintons? I don't know. I didn't look that deep. And, let's see, there's another name. Okay, Jed. Alright, John Parnell Walker. Another guy in the Whitewater investigation, which was in the 90s, which was big. And, alright, Stanley Higgnz. Victor Thorne, Terrence Yeeke, Gareth Williams, Michael Hastings. That's a big name. That was in 2013, which is one of the latest ones. He died in a highly suspicious single-car accident. He had told friends that he was afraid for his life following stories he had written, which were critical of Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. And it was an email leaked during the 2016 Democratic Convention confirmed that Hillary had received Hastings' damning investigative report of the attack on Benghazi. Which nobody really looks in. How the fuck this bitch got the ticket after the Benghazi deal?
Right.
How the fuck that bitch got the ticket? Like, investigative reporter and former police officer Jenny Moore investigating Clinton sex crimes. Peter Smith, a former equity advisor, was found dead around 10 days after telling Wall Street Journal he tried to acquire emails missing from Hillary Clinton's server. These people just fucking
getting whacked.
You
bro.
just say the Clinton name, you fucking
getting
they
whacked,
coming to
bro.
get you.
That's it. Dude, you looked at the witnesses list?
That's
That's
got
a
whacked?
pretty long, yeah. Just for being a witness, people who was willing to testify. Dude, that list is insane.
Arkla and Altel. Altel's a cell phone company that folded. What the fuck Altel had to do with any? Jim Whithite, 1992. Charles Miller. All these people, the Mena Airport witnesses. All right, here we go. Yeah, the two kids. That's the two kids that that were found dead at the railroad tracks.
Right.
These, let's see. Start case. 7. Boys on the track case. Reports indicate that Ives and Henry stumbled upon and witnessed an aerial drop, which was the coke. They got dropped, during the smuggling operation. Initial cause of death was claimed to be a result of passing out on the railroad tracks after smoking weed. Come on, bro.
But look at all the witnesses to that case. Listen to how they found that. James Dewey Millam, whatever, he was found decapitated. Keith Coney died when his motorcycle slammed into the back of a truck. Keith, whatever, 1988, owner of a local bar, stabbed 100.
That's a weird.
Yeah, stabbed 113 times. Gregory Collins died from a gunshot wound. Jeff Rhodes, he was shot,
mutilated, and found burned in a trash dump.
Now, Richard Winters, a suspect in the Ive and Henry deaths, he was killed in a set-up robbery.
Jeez.
Jordan Kettleson was found shot to death in the front seat of his pickup truck.
I'm gonna start there but these two kids, alright. This is 1987. the media told the public that they died because they fell asleep smoking weed on the railroad tracks and the fucking train rolled over them. That's basically what they saying.
Jesus Christ, bro.
People believe that shit. I mean, look, I know weed was treated a little differently and looked at, but come on, it wasn't that good. And these baby boomers that smoked pot during the 60s believe this shit? Come on. Dude, that's fucking ridiculous, bro. That's sad. A 60 and 70, they smoked, the weed was that good that they just passed out
on the railroad tracks. Come on, bro.
Like, oh, we're just looking at the stars, we're so high, and just
doze off.
You fall asleep on the railroad tracks when the train's coming. See how...
Bro, dude, from a mile away, that shit'll wake you up, bro. There ain't no way. Come on, bro.
The weed's that good.
Come the fuck on, bro. Jesus. That shit must have been some good shit.
That one right there is enough to call
bullshit.
Bullshit.
But them baby boomers wouldn't believe that.
Yeah. Suzanne Coleman, an heir, had an affair with Clinton when he was Arkansas Attorney General, died of a gunshot wound to the back of the head, ruled a suicide.
No.
A gunshot wound to the back of the head, ruled a suicide.
Bruh.
I'm going out like this, right? Because I want my face to at least look good for the fucking...
Yeah.
But no, because it's going to blow the front of my face off, right? So why would you shoot yourself in the back of the motherfucking head?
Oh, man.
Ruled a suicide. No autopsy allowed.
Said to be 7 months pregnant with Bill Clinton's child at the time of death.
Right. Dude, there's even
That's insane.
During the election, they had a mixed kid come out and say that he's Bill Clinton's son, bro.
Probably is.
Well, yeah, I mean, he had a story behind it, and he didn't
All
the
the chicks
know.
he was probably fucking. He was probably fucking everywhere he went.
Well, look at that. 86, Judy Gibbs, Penthouse model and call girl. She appeared in the 1979 issue of Penthouse and later worked at a bordello near Menya, Arkansas, which also ran a blackmail operation. According to Gibbs, Bill was a regular customer.
And they had photos of him having sex with her.
Yep. While cooperating with law enforcement in a drug investigation, Judy died when her house burned down. She just
burnt that fucking house down.
She didn't even try to get out. You know, she just in bed smoking that weed.
That good
slept through
that shit too, yeah.
This guy died of a gunshot suicide. That he had a black book, James Bunch. He had a black book of people which contained names of influential people who visited prostitutes in Texas and Arkansas.
Man, yeah, that'd be a good way to get killed.
Dude, do they have... I wonder if they hire professional... Like, I know they hire professional hitmen. But do they have, like, a team... Like, the same guy is doing all... You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
They just... You know, just like you gonna be my landscaper on my estate, you gonna be my hitman.
Oh, I'm sure, dude.
So I got a personal hitman who did all this shit. You know, a team of 3 or 4 guys, the exterminators, right? You're gonna get rid of all my roaches.
Well,
or does he hire separate entities?
I don't know. If you ran a coke business in Arkansas, I mean, you got hitmen, bro. I'm just saying.
Right.
You gotta have hitmen, bro.
Right. If you murder this guy, you get my coupon. You get a discount on the next fucking shipment. Huh? Alright, Kathy Ferguson, ex-wife of Arkansas trooper, was found dead in a living room with a gunshot to the head. It was ruled a suicide, even though there were several packed suitcases as if she was going somewhere.
Jesus.
It's like, okay, 1 or 2 conspiracies. You know, like, yeah, people are reaching, maybe, but all of these people who have
all of these people, dude. All of these deaths. And so many of them had something to do with Bill Clinton and his...
That's what I mean. Everything's...
And his weird fantasies, bro.
Right. They were trying to cover up his sexual...
Yeah.
You know, relationships. So he can... Because if this shit came... A lot of this came out in the 80s before he was even president, so that like they were keeping his name nice and clean so they could put him in office. You know,
read the one about Bill Shelton, an Arkansas state trooper and fiance of Kathy Ferguson. Critical of the suicide ruling of his fiance, he was found dead of a gunshot wound. Also ruled a suicide at the grave site of his fiance.
Wow.
Now that's some sick shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
And 97, pre-trial publicity surrounding Paula Jones lawsuit. This is Mary Mahoney. Dropped that a former White House staffer with the initial M was about to go public with her story of sexual harassment at the White House. Days later, 2 gunmen entered a Starbucks that Mahoney managed. Whacked the fucking ass. Damn. Mahoney had 5 bullets in her in the chest, her face, and in the back of the head from 2 different guns.
Bro, they already got Jeffrey Epstein on that list already. And they got it highlighted in blue. He's already on that bitch, bro. Jesus Christ.
You don't even have to put him on that list. It's enough to say, like, maybe we should look into this, boss.
Damn, that just shows how fast this list gets updated.
We didn't even get into attorneys, fundraising, security personnel and others, political cases, survivors, references.
Yep.
All of it, these are all these people who are dude, come on. We gotta do, and he actually jokes about this shit. Like, Clinton has went publicly speaking and like made it, you know, like there's a lot of conspiracy theory.
Let's read what they have to say about the Jeffrey Epstein unsealed court documents alleging about the whole activity with naming Bill Clinton, former Clinton, Department of Energy Bill Richardson, and other multiple global elitists, socialists, and liberals. To Epstein was found dead in his cell awaiting trial. Former Whitewater prosecutor Kenneth Starr worked on Epstein's 2008 defense team. So what that tells you?
It makes sense. Like how
it makes sense.
How they tied together.
Yeah.
It's more than just flying on the plane. I need a ride. Y'all know anybody? Oh, Jeff's passing through.
So
his
we just
plane.
went over just a partial of their hit list, covering up all those tracks.
Yep.
So what makes you think they wouldn't go? This is just another example. This sounds right up their alley, bro. This is right up their alley.
Right.
Why wouldn't they?
Right. They need this. They need to keep their name clean. So it's like Pinocchio telling a lie.
Yeah.
You know, once you tell one, you gotta keep on until the truth comes out.
Yep.
So they gotta continue to cover up this dirt.
They have to, bro. Cause you gotta think he was on that plane with him 26 times. So what you think they went and did when they got off that plane?
Right.
What that tells you.
Even during the election, they talked about the you heard the spirit cooking and all that shit, bro. You heard about that shit?
No, I didn't. The spirit cooking.
Yeah.
The fuck is that?
That's some deep shit. So they have this remember when the WikiLeaks emails came out?
Right.
Well, during the WikiLeaks emails, there was emails that was leaked. Podesta, you know, Podesta guy who was, I think it was Obama's political advisor, like the guy who ran his campaigns and shit like that. Well, he's been in the they're brothers. Well, they're all tied together. Well, one of the WikiLeaks emails was one Podesta writing John Podesta, who was the guy who was in the White House, asking if he's going to this spirit cooking thing, and it ties the Clintons back, and the spirit cooking is real. It's confirmed that it's just where they go and they like put this dead body, you know, like it's a mock dead body out, and people like eat off of it like it's a cake. You know, like Jesus they cut their pieces off of right. It's like, And it's this sick painter who's into this shit. Mary something. I have to go look up her name. We can talk about that another day. But it's been confirmed that the Clintons go hang out. They all these big political figures go hang out with her and go kick it at her parties, and they do this sick shit. The same thing with the Comet Pizza. Remember the Comet Pizza in Washington? Oh, you never heard of the Comet?
No.
Oh, man. Well,
The fuck is the Comet Pizza, brother?
The pizza place in Washington, D.C. that got accused of after hours, involved in molesting children and shit. Where politicians would come in there, Washington, D.C., yeah. And then on the menu, the menu was all code names. For
what they wanted.
Right, what they wanted to do. Yeah, like what kind of I guess sex they wanted to have.
Sure, Epstein didn't own that little pizza place? Probably did.
Probably been in there. He probably knows. That's where all these ties are coming into play. You say, they try to tie the Clintons to this shit. And this sex trafficking ring. They say this sex trafficking ring is tied to kidnappings, missing children cases that have never been found, like missing children, and that's where they went. They went and fucking got kidnapped and hijacked. That shit goes deep. It even goes into organ donating and shit like that, bro. Where they talking about fucking, cutting people open, and this is black market, bro. This gangster black market that involved in some serious occult shit. That's where they at with that's how deep it is. Like
and it seems so far fetched, so people just don't want to believe it.
Right.
But all the evidence is there.
Right.
Like all the evidence is there, and people refuse to believe it because they don't want to believe it. Because it seems so disturbing and far fetched. You don't want to believe it.
It would completely change the whole aspect of everything that people believe was the norm. You know, everything you've ever been told.
It would make you feel very uncomfortable to live in this world and in society,
right?
Being run by those type of people.
How am I going to go to work every day knowing that all of this stuff is true, without thinking that who else is involved? Like how deep does this shit run?
Right.
And I can't prove that any of this is true. This is just the information that's out there. But what I get is eventually. I mean, how many accusations can you have against you and your state and your people before you can be put on trial for that shit? Like,
I mean, it's kind of hard to turn a blind eye to after this Jeffrey Epstein shit, It's kind of hard just to be like, no. Now you got to start asking questions. Like, how was he able to get through all those times where they called him before?
It's not gonna end with.
No, it's not.
Don't end with Jeffrey. That's just.
Well, I think it's gonna end there now. They done killed his ass.
Well,
that was.
If they see him involved in it, I'm sure there's other people that they're watching.
Well, who's gonna talk now?
Nobody. Well, nobody's gonna talk.
Now, how you ever gonna find out more if
I mean, if the Clintons are involved, then he's look 40 how many people we named here? There's fucking 100 names on that list.
Right.
I don't think people are gonna stop trying to talk. But the thing is you don't know if the Clintons had this dude whacked, bro. You don't know who works for him and who don't at that point. Because he didn't, obviously he didn't know if he got whacked by the Clintons. He didn't know that the fucking dude in his cell supposedly was obviously got paid to handle that business. And it could be a whole secret. Man, that's a big fucking chain of secret society when you talk about that shit. Like,
right.
There's some little soldiers out there, that...
Bro, why they put some little... scrawny little dude in a cell with a big ass dude like that, bro?
That's a killer.
Yeah.
Not only a killer, but you putting a guy on suicide watch. I thought when you was on suicide watch,
it's kind of like isolation, huh?
Right. With no shoelace, like you can't bring shoelaces.
And then you monitor 24/7.
Exactly. Like somebody needs to be eyes on us. That, hey, look, some cat off the street, that ain't worth the fucking, shoes he's wearing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Gets locked up, tries to hang himself. You catch him. Hey, you might have a little loose security on him when you put him on suicide watch, because nobody gives a fuck. But the whole world is waiting to see this dude get taken out. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude stand trial and prove a point to the world that, we out here trying to capture these crooks. You would think they would have a fucking camera on him all day long. You know what I'm saying? Not only can you get a motherfucker outside the door, you might even have somebody in the cell with his ass.
Especially somebody of that high profile.
That's what I mean. It's the biggest that's bigger than OJ. That's bigger than the OJ case to me, because OJ, they say OJ killed his wife in the heat of the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was premeditated, but he was in the heat of the moment. He just killed his wife. This motherfucker's ruining lives.
Fucking sex trafficking children, bro.
Right. It's almost better for him to just take him in and kill him.
Yeah. Because
you're scarring lives, and that
ruining
negative
children,
right?
bro.
That negative energy travels throughout their whole life, where they want to be, they want to be dead, and then you spread negativity to all their circle, because you got to constantly deal with this. That, I think that's a lot worse than just whacking somebody off. To me, I mean, that you're ruining futures, and it's a web, and it travels out. That energy travels out. Not everybody's strong enough to overcome that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it completely destroys families, destroys lives. You just take somebody and they disappear, and you never know where they at. I don't know. That might be a little less detrimental to families than finding out what really happened to them, and they just fucked up from it for the rest of their lives. And you got to, I don't know. I'm reaching here, but I think that's some sick shit. That was.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean,
that's a ring of molestation, bro. That's worse than R. Kelly, for sure. To me, that's worse than R. Kelly, for sure.
Definitely off top. Like, he wasn't even. It was a personal fantasy of his own, but then he was hooking up all these people with these same girls, bro, just to use them for blackmail.
Right.
So this motherfucker was sick, and he was. I don't know, bro.
It's a power trip. Once you get in that kind of power, dog, like, depending on how bad of a person you are, and what your interests are,
I guess that's what they mean by money's the root of all evil, huh?
Dude,
I guess that's why they say that.
And then somebody,
because it brings the evil out of it.
Yes. And then he didn't want, he wanted to bring his friends in too. He wanted his friends to enjoy the fun.
Oh yeah.
So why would you not think that they didn't, he didn't peer pressure them into doing that shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm a grown ass man, if I ain't into that, the last thing you're gonna do is talk me into doing some shit like that, cause you in a little, cause we hanging out together.
Right.
So this is sounds like a ring. This is a mountain. I mean, this is like a mole.
I still have a lot of questions, I don't know
how to describe that, but yeah, this is just a small piece of a whole bigger picture.
Yeah.
No matter how big he was.
Yep.
Now we on some, negative shit.
So what's your theory on his death?
Alright. So I think two things. I can't give you one, but I think one, because you don't even know if that dude was really a celly. How the fuck we know that? But that's what they just saying. That's what the news is telling us. So I think he was murdered. And now I'm not going to say the Clintons did it. I don't know. I think he was either murdered or he's out there chilling with one in each hand, kicking back.
The only reason why I'm going to say I feel like it's a possibility that he was murdered. And I know my theory might be a little far-fetched, that he walked out of prison because the way they say this guy liked to blackmail people. Like, how could you kill somebody without knowing the amount of evidence he might have on you?
Right. Well,
without retrieving all of that first. Because he might have it set up to where something happens to him, all that shit still will get leaked.
Well, alright. Let's look at it like this. Let's say you're right. Alright, yeah, he did blackmail all these people. But when you blackmail somebody, no matter how much they feel pinned in the corner, and you got me, he's also arrested. So, and you blackmail somebody, you create an enemy no matter what y'all same interests are. You know what I'm saying? You fucked me over, yeah. You know, you technically, you're a bitch by doing that because, you know, we out here doing dirt together and you gonna intentionally blackmail me to hold it over your head.
But what I'm saying is, how can the Clintons order a hit on this guy without getting those that pieces of evidence that he might have had on them? Because you think he would just keep that just one copy of that piece of evidence if he was notorious for doing that?
That's what I mean. I don't know if the Clintons had anything to do with it. I don't know.
Or anybody for that matter. You couldn't just...
Right, but I mean, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they might have him.
It would kind of be hard to kill somebody that's known for doing something like that.
We don't know the chain. That can go deep because, like I said, you may have it all figured out. You may have the guy, you know, like the people who got him in prison right now may be his enemy. That were under blackmail, and they got the evidence, and then they gonna whack his ass off before he snitches. The same way Oswald got whacked off 2 days after they accused him of killing Kennedy, which is a whole nother story. You know what I mean? He just got whacked in public. They didn't even give a fuck. They wanted the world to see that he, you know, this is what happens if you try to snitch on this, you know, like that's how gangster we are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, and that's what they're a little slick about.
It could be, I mean, hey, the people they sent in to investigate this shit probably did get all the evidence. Even with the suicide. So they was able to whack him. It's possible. Even the original suicide. You know, these theories can go deep. Even the original suicide. That's why we got to put him on suicide watch. So we move him to another location. That whole suicide could be a lot. Right. That's what I'm saying. He never attempted to commit suicide at all. That was his way. They shipped his ass, and he knew as soon as he got shipped, and he saw that he was being put on suicide watch. When he ain't tried to commit suicide, he knew his time was up. Yeah. You know, he's going. Either way, I don't think he committed suicide. Either way, I don't think it was at his own hands. Not being on suicide watch, so to say. You know, like you on suicide watch supposedly, and you're able to commit suicide on suicide watch. That's just stupid. That's almost like the media rubbing it in your face. Right. Like I'm gonna show the American people how stupid they are. We're gonna say that he tried to commit suicide, and then a week later, or whatever, week or two later, we're gonna say that he committed suicide on suicide watch. Right. Yeah. You already can't show up in the cell with laces in your shoes and shit. You know what I mean? Like you the biggest high profile criminal. Right, suspect. You're the biggest high profile suspect in the entire country in years. In years. Like I said, we go back to probably the biggest since OJ. And you're gonna get caught trying to kill yourself, get put on suicide watch, and then still commit suicide. You ain't that smart. Yeah. No way. No fucking way. Dude, no, man, there ain't no way. I repeated it a couple times just so people can sink that in their heads. That's what we at. That's where we're at. Yep. Bullshit. But it's time to have some fun now. So yeah, we got strippers / teachers in China welcoming parents and kids back to the new school year with a pole dance display.
I mean, if anything, I want to go to that kind of open house. Like,
yeah. When's the PTA meeting?
Right. You want to get parents more involved in, especially dads, more involved in their kids' lives at school. That's how you welcome.
That's how you do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Strobe lights and.
Can you imagine the look on those parents' faces?
Well, it's in China, so I don't. Is the culture just a little bit different? Why would you do that as a teacher?
I don't know.
What the fuck are you doing?
Man, they said it was like 500 kids there and 100 parents at the attendance.
Performed a routine on the flagpole located out in the school's courtyard. Several parents recorded the incident where one can clearly see the pole, the Chinese flag, and a woman spinning around in the air. The videos are now going viral on social media. She was trying to look to get fired, maybe. I don't know. That's going postal. That's what that is, bro.
I don't know what to call that, dude. Is that dedication?
500 children aged 3 to 6 and 100 parents in attendance. The event is part of a ceremony commemorating the start of the new school year in China.
Bro, like, how can she sit there and say, I'm gonna pole dance for these kids and these parents
and do it
to start this school year off?
Well, look, here's the video. This is confirmation. That must be the pole right there. Oh, that's it. You can't really see it. Yeah.
Nah, it shows the pole dance right here.
There's the pole dance.
They was watching. Look, they laughing, bro. They laughing like it's normal. I don't know. They didn't find that shit funny.
Would you think, the guy tweeted, would you think this is a good idea? We're trying to pull the kids out of the school and get our tuition back. They wouldn't give us the number of the company that owns the school, but looking into that. I don't get what's funny about that, but that's what somebody tweeted. Parents called the incident a horrific viewing experience and are threatening to take their children out of the school. Several stated that this isn't the first time an inappropriate incident occurs throughout the year. So the school has a problem.
Yeah.
10 days of according to Shenzhen-based journalists, the school had 10 days of military activities and displays of machine gun and mortar at the door.
Oh, shit. So they jacking this school up, huh?
Right, is that... I'm assuming that's not a public school because they can kind of do.
You get mortars and shit displays at the school. Now you're getting a stripper.
Dude, that's dope.
Damn.
I don't know if I would be so offended as thinking like this is some funny shit.
Yeah.
I think I would laugh, bro. I really would.
I don't know, bro. This shit wouldn't fly in America, bro.
Yeah, like this. It seems that they're real lighthearted about it. She just got arrested. Like what they gonna do? Oh, fired. I'm sorry. She got fired. That's what I mean. She didn't get arrested.
She got fired.
That's within the limitations of the law, is what she's doing right there. Which, hey, would you get...
But in the video, you didn't see none of the parents get up and leave.
Well, the thing is, alright, so let's look at... She's not naked. So technically...
She's just pole dancing.
In America, would you go to jail for that? Even if you did it in the school courtyard, I don't really know if that is a reason to go to jail.
I mean, she's dressed.
That's what I mean.
She's just pole dancing.
She's dressed, right. She's not dressed, there's a lot of skin showing, but she's dressed.
Right.
I think that's why they couldn't do anything to her but fire her. She was looking to lose her job. She's probably making good money right now stripping in one of them China clubs right now. It's because it's probably legal.
But I wonder what made her think that was okay. Like,
well,
I'm just going to go hop on this pole.
If she's a teacher, I think she knew it wasn't okay. This
teacher, she was the principal.
She's the principal.
The principal, yeah.
I'm sorry. She was the principal. Okay. So, here's my theory. Let's say she got offered a job making twice the money being a stripper. So she just says, all right, school board president, I got something for you. I won the lottery. So this is her way of shitting on the boss's desk, like we talked about last week.
This is the way to shit on the desk, huh?
Why else would you do it?
I don't know.
Like, you're looking to get fired. You know I'm about to get fired, but I'm going out with a bang.
Unless she took the job and it was like, okay, the money you offer me is a fucking joke compared to what I was making on the
That's
pole.
what I'm saying.
So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna go make a joke back.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna dance on the pole in front of all these parents and these kids. Yeah.
And then maybe she needed a raise. And she needed a raise so bad that she went stripping at nighttime. And she tried to tell
Well, like I said, none of the parents got up and left.
Right. Well, we can't get it.
In China, you gotta think, it's not like America. Like, the man of the house got all the power. They, like, you know what I'm saying? They kind of... The wife ain't gonna get up and walk away unless the man does.
Well, see, you know what's so cool about this is that this right here will get you a one-way ticket to America with citizenship. You ain't got to worry about it being...
And you already got a celebrity status.
Right.
Yeah, right there.
Yep, Hollywood is calling her up right now.
Yeah.
She got a fucking job.
She got a fucking fly on the Air Force One coming
We
over
talking
here.
about her like she's stupid. She's a damn genius, bro.
She's a damn genius.
She ain't afraid to step up in the communist country, walk into a elementary schoolyard and dress half naked and show them how she can work a pole.
Yeah, shake that ass on the pole.
Hollywood's calling, bro.
Oh yeah.
The porn companies probably called. You know, everybody. You about to be the baddest bitch in America.
Yeah. At least for a week or so.
Yep. She's in Hangover.
Until
4.
another dumb bitch
Should be in
get on
Hangover.
pole
What
and
they
do the
had
same
3
thing.
hangovers.
Yeah.
That should be in Hangover 4 for sure.
Yeah.
She gonna be the next Lucy Liu. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The next fucking.
Oh, bro.
That's
Dancing on a pole in front of parents and kids.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Mad respect. Much mad love, mad respect.
So what would you do? What would your reaction be if you went to your kids, you know, first day back to school attendance, and the principal up there shaking her ass on the pole,
my son, bro. I mean, I would be lying if I was offended. I'd be lying if I was offended.
You'd be lying, huh? Shit.
I don't know. I think all the whole family would just fucking sit back and laugh, bro. Honestly, I mean, it's all that. What the hell is it? You know, I think we would all sit back and just fucking.
I already know my wife's reaction. I can already see it because she's very protective of our kids. So she's like, "What is this bitch doing?"
Yeah, maybe afterwards. I don't know. From an outside perspective, they think about it. Think about. You already know she's done. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to worry about her teaching you, you know, like having any control over your kid because her career's over.
Yeah, that's it.
So
what'd you do? You
it
just
would
hand
be a
your wife
good
and the
moment.
kids the keys to the car? Go wait in the car, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, if she got offended, don't want to see it. Like,
Yeah.
Well,
Go wait in the
go
car.
and get everything. Yeah.
I'll be out in a minute.
I gotta pee.
Yeah, I gotta pee. Yeah.
I'm
man.
telling you, I don't think we would. If we seen that image that we just watched now, I don't think it would be as breathtaking. It's shocking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Big of a shock moment. And I think I stand pretty firm with a lot of families out there where they would just sit back and laugh their ass off. Now,
I don't know. Some people get offended.
Oh, they
easily in
would.
America.
They would. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
I would be shocked. I'd just be like, what the fuck is like this really going on?
And then
For real?
it may depend on what you know how your kids go to school. You know how you got your daddy or your family that you kind of kick it with whenever you go sit in attendance somewhere. You know, if you with that.
That's funny, dude.
You know, like me and you sit next to each other watching this shit happen. I ain't getting up.
Bro, I could already see it, bro. We just probably look and smile at each other
Yeah,
like, what the
why-
fuck is
the
going
why-
on?
Whether they get up or not, I don't know. But I wouldn't take any offense to it. I would enjoy this moment while it lasts because you're only gonna see it once, bro. You're only gonna see it once.
I bet you them dads are getting a lot more involved into them school activities, huh?
Well, we would pull out the phones. That's probably what we do. This good content right here. Let's see. We can use this for our next video.
Yeah. Beef footage.
Good time to shoot that.
Beef footage.
That's this for that club song we were doing right there.
Yeah. Jesus.
As the world turns. And look, we've been successful at finding a crazy story around the world every week. That's the world we live in. And I guarantee you by Wednesday evening we're gonna find the next one that we're gonna be able to use for next week.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna end with this. Y'all have a wonderful night. O.Verses will be back next week. He's in Colorado. So we told him that while you in Colorado, that means you gotta take pictures of the airport because there's a big conspiracy with the Denver, Colorado airport. And that'll be our conspiracy for next week, even though it seemed like everything we did tonight was conspiracy. They're all tied together, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles, I guess you could say. Well, y'all have a wonderful night. See y'all next week. We're gonna rock out with this Bugz. Y'all can catch us September 14th at Sully's. I'll be at the Bonnie Hole Bash, Labor Day weekend. And we filming this on Tuesday, but Thursday night, after this comes out, we'll be at Old R&B Bar doing our little thing on Thursday night. What that is, what they call it, the Latino night?
Oh, Latino night. Salsa night.
It's the salsa night.
Salsa night.
Right, so all the Tostitos and burritos and sombreros and piñatas. I told them I ain't coming unless they got them piñatas in that bitch.
Yeah. Oh.
Fucking people.
Fuck, I ain't going. I want a fucking pinata, a donkey pinata.